What's up, everybody? Jordo over here from Scratch Disc Games, and doing a quick review on the PlayStation TV. I just happened to buy it the other day, kind of on a whim, because I've been wanting one for a while. Like, since the announcement, I've always been like pretty invested in it. Like, I already have a PlayStation Vita. Like, I got one around launch time, and I'm not regretting it per se, but it's not the best investment I ever made. It's not as bad as having a Wii U, but it's pretty close. I'm kidding. Don't hate me, Nintendo fanboys. I love my Wii U too. Um, but yeah. So I finally buckled down and bought this thing after the price drop happened. Went on eBay, found one used for like $50. Picked it up, started hooking it up and playing with it and everything. First off, like the way the thing is built, it feels really fragile. Like if it fell out of my pocket, I'd feel like the whole thing would just crumble to pieces. Like just the integrity of the system itself, like really bothered me because of how like fragile and easy it seemed to break. Other than that, it came with that. It came with a HDMI cord, which is was totally weird after the PS4 era or after the PS3 era, giving away an HDMI cord. You never thought Sony would do that. But they gave that out. It came with a power cord. I just got the basic bundle. And I found a 32 gig memory card, which was insanely priced for like $55 used. Or not used, sorry, brand new. The memory card was 32 gig memory card, brand new, 55. I still don't understand why Sony goes out of their way to make sure that these things cost so much damn money. Anyway, on to the operating system and just playing with this thing, because I've had a Vita for about 2 years now, and like I said, it's not my favorite handheld system I've ever owned, but it has some games on it that I like playing. It's kind of fun, what have you. I haven't had any legitimate issues with the operating system or the way I play games on a Vita. The PlayStation TV, on the other hand, the biggest drawback is that every game obviously is not going to be compatible. As far as my physical games go, I have Little Big Planet, Uncharted, Resistance, Killzone, Assassin's Creed Liberation, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Those are the physical games I own for my PlayStation Vita. Out of all of them, the only one that works is Uncharted. Sorry, not Uncharted. No, I wish that one did, just because it looks so pretty. I'd like to see it on a big TV. Mercenary, Killzone Mercenary is the only game that works on the PlayStation Vita out of the physical games I own. Some of my downloadable content games do work, but it's really frustrating not knowing what's going to work and what is, because apparently the list they put on the PlayStation Network or PlayStation blog is not updated. There are new games that keep coming out that apparently are compatible with it, but they haven't updated the list. So whatever you're buying is a crapshoot, which is why I've kind of prevented myself from buying more PlayStation Vita games, because I wanted to know that I could buy a game that I could play on a TV as opposed to a handheld, because I barely have enough time to play the video games I want to play. I don't really want to sit down and play something on a handheld if I can avoid it. Just because I lose track of what I'm doing. There's too much other stimulus going on with a handheld. I'm far gone from like the age of Pokemon, where I could sit down and just sit and focus and do nothing but think about that thing in my hand. Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest downfall and letdown about the whole thing, is like, I understand that there are a lot of Vita games that are very demanding of the special like hardware specs of the thing, like the front touchscreen, the back touchscreen, the gyrometer, all that crap. And I know it would probably be a son of a bitch to program for the PlayStation TV, considering it's not selling too well. But it's like, how hard is it to... Oh, sorry, I'm not going to say how hard is it to code a patch, because I'm not a game developer and I don't know. But, the option to have that would be awesome. Because the whole reason I wanted a PlayStation TV, like my master plan goal here... Whoops, I keep bumping my mic, sorry. Is I wanted to have a portable fight box. I wanted a box to have all my little 2D fighters on it, that I could take around with me and play wherever I wanted. That was the goal. I wanted, like, so far the only fighting game I've been able to put on it is King of Fighters 99, and Street Fighter Alpha 3. That's it. Which are two of my favorite fighting games, but it's not the list I wanted. I wanted to be able to have my Mortal Kombat on there, and Street Fighter, Cross Tekken, and, you know, eventually stream my other games I'm going to have on PlayStation 4. Because I wanted just this little box I could take to someone's house. I could take 2 controllers, and we could just sit down and play, and, you know, and just have a good time. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that, and I mean, I probably should have done more research into it. But you know, it's a little bit of a rough patch there that I can't really get over. It's a little bit of buyer's remorse that I can't really come to terms with. So out of the things that I own digitally and physically for the PlayStation Vita, it's not really up to snuff. I did do the what was it, the System Link with my PS4 to stream games and play them digitally. It works okay. I did it with it was a weird thing. I was playing a PlayStation 4 game with the DualShock 3, which just didn't feel natural. I was playing Need for Speed Rivals, and you know, my Wi-Fi connection's pretty good most of the time. It's not stellar, but I was able to get a decent connection out of it. I was able to race around for a while without anything happening. You know, was able to hit turns fine. There may have been like a little bit of lag here and there. I tried it hardwired, and it was a lot better. When you use a LAN cable, it is so much better than their crappy Wi-Fi that works with the system. But after I did that, it seemed to work a lot smoother once I went LAN. And there's another thing that I'm kind of upset about, is that it doesn't have the option for a PS3 link. Like, the Vita itself has an option for a PS3 link, so you can stream stuff from your PS3, but the PlayStation TV doesn't. And if it's just supposed to be a glorified PS3 or PSP, I don't understand why it has another feature taken away from it. I don't know. I don't really know what Sony's doing with this thing, and I don't really understand, like, the breakdown for whatever their plan is. At the moment, it seems like they're going to abandon the damn thing, and I kind of bought it a little late in the race, or pretty much at the end of its lifespan. I feel like a PlayStation Eye adopter, like right before the PlayStation 4 came out. Like, oh, I'm going to buy this thing, and it's totally going to be supported, and it's totally going to be awesome, and it ends up being kind of, you know, shit. I think if the company had put a little more, like, is keeping an effort into it, it probably would be a little bit better, but right at the moment, I don't really see a reason to keep the damn thing unless they kind of bump up whatever's going on. The only thing that is redeeming it is just the streaming content. Like, being able to stream my PS4 games anywhere is really cool, because I have parties sometimes in my house, and, you know, we'll sit around and we'll play video games, what have you. The room I have my PS4 in is pretty small. It's this room right here. It's not a very big room. I got a door and a wall and a wall and a wall, and you guessed it, another wall. It's kind of compact. So if, you know, there's more than like 4 or 5 people in here, it kind of gets a little snug and kind of hot. So it's kind of uncomfortable. And I don't like moving my game systems. I don't like moving my game systems around, because I just don't want to. It's not just about being lazy. It's just about, I don't feel comfortable moving. Like, once I have like a system that's came out since 2005 or 7. I just don't like moving it. I like keeping it in one central place, because they're fragile fucking shits, and I don't like moving them. So pretty much the whole thing is with this, I'm going to be able to take my console, I'm going to be able to put it in another room that does have more room, and we can play the games that we wanted to play together in here, out there, like, so we can pass around Street Fighter 5, hopefully, when it comes out soon, and, you know, Guilty Gear, like, we've been playing Guilty Gear a lot, playing WWE 15, Madden, or NBA, or whatever, that's a 2-player game that we can play together. We have the option to play it in another room. Also, I have roommates who just like watching me play video games, and sometimes having the more room and things being a little more comfortable is, you know, it's more ideal. So for that, I'm getting what I want. I'm getting the ability to do that outside of my small confines of my gaming room into other parts of my house. So for that, it works perfectly fine. As long as I'm hardwired or I'm using my secondary Wi-Fi hotspot. My primary Wi-Fi hotspot is a little bit of a bitch boat. It doesn't like to work half the time, and it's just a little weird. But the one that I have that is my secondary hotspot is pretty solid. It works a lot better than the other one. But pretty much sum everything up. I'm not thrilled with the overall experience with the PlayStation TV. It has a lot of hurdles that I think that the company is not willing to get over. I think they're just like, well, if it didn't do well, who cares? It's just done. It's dead in the water, and that's it, which is really discerning because with the PlayStation Vita needing as much help as it needs, because it's kind of drowning in the water with floaties on, it really needs the help of any kind of outlet to play the content that they created for you. Because a lot of people don't want to spend, that much money on a handheld, where some people I know have been holding out for the PlayStation TV solely to play PSP games or PS Vita games, because of just it being cheaper and it being centralized and it being connected to a TV. Yeah, I don't think it's 100% what it could have been and what it should be, and I don't think it's really that. It's not going to be that widespread for a lot of people. It's not going to meet a lot of needs. It barely has any apps that work on it. Luckily, NBA Game Time works on it, and I can watch games, but I don't even know if Game Center works on it for NHL, and I know WWE doesn't work on it, or Hulu, or any of those things. Crackle works and Skype works, but other than that, I honestly, if you didn't really care about being able to stream your content and you don't have a LAN cable nearby, I would not recommend it whatsoever until they kind of beefed up what the library can do and just patch the games that are out now that you could play on it. Because so far with the Vita, I've been able to go back and buy a bunch of games secondhand and get them a lot cheaper, and they'll work fine on my Vita. But if I didn't have an actual PlayStation Vita, just the Vita TV, and I go back and buy these old games and they don't work on my shit, then I can't use them, and it's kind of a frustrating process to go through to find what works and what doesn't. But yeah, so that's my review of the PlayStation TV Vita. To sum it up, if you need to know what you're buying when you buy it, because you may not be able to play it. And if you aren't really that concerned about streaming game content from your PlayStation 4 to anywhere you are, then it's not really the thing for you. Just don't buy it at this stage in the game, unless Sony balls up and puts a little more emphasis on the system and gives it a little more support. But yep, so that's it for me. If you like what you see, subscribe to Scratch Disc Games, share, tell your friends, blah 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 blah, all that self-promotion crap. Got a new episode of Tank Tuesdays coming out because the last one seemed to do okay. People seem to like it, think it's funny. It'll be me and Dan sitting around playing NBA Jam. Which one is it? NBA Jam Tournament Edition for the Sega Saturn. Alright, well, should be posted in a few days. Check it out. Y'all have a good night. Peace and bacon grease.